Afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here again to talk about one of the things I like to talk about. I like to talk about food. So today we'll be talking about Six Sigma, lean manufacturing, green belt, whatever you call it. One second. So what are we going to be talking about today? What's the cost constant? We'll try and attempt to define what is Lean Six Sigma. We'll talk about the concept of Lean Six Sigma. How do we use it? Where do we use it? What is it all about? Then we'll talk about the methodology for improvement. And lastly, we'll finish today with what's the green belt approach? What's actually the green belt? Why is it important? Why do we do it? Okay. If we look at this run chart, this is the weight from a bakery product group. The weight is supposed to be 3 grams per cookie or cracker, whatever it's supposed to be. But we can see here how this company is running. Sometimes they're as low as 2 1/4, and sometimes they're as heavy as 4. This is going to be an open forum, and you can please unmute yourself and talk if you have to. If you are the quality assurance manager or the production manager in this company and your weight of your product is all over, what will you do? Will you be concerned? And what will be on your mind? This is an open discussion, so please feel free to talk. If you are the QA manager in this company, what will you do? The weight is supposed to be 3 grams, but you're running all over, sometimes as low as 2 1/4, sometimes as heavy as 4. What problems do we see here? Nobody wants to talk.
Hello. Consistency. There's no consistency in the weight there.
Good. There's no consistency. Good. Yeah. What else? You'll be concerned. I know you'll be concerned. Why will you be concerned? Okay. You'll be concerned for so many reasons, and I'm going to explain. When you are as low as 2 yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hello. If I am as low as 2 grams, I have a problem of food fraud.
Exactly.
I'm not giving my consumer what I actually declare.
Exactly.
So that's food fraud, which any agency can take me up for it. If I'm giving too much as high as 4, I am not trying to make profit because I've done my assignment to know that at 8 grams, I have a particular profit and which is good enough. So if I give more, then the yield is going to be very low, and that will affect the profitability of the company. So I will not want to run.
Perfect. That is exactly what is going on. When you are way too low, you are compromising quality. You are not giving the customers what they want. You are cheating them. And you run regulatory foul. The regulators may come after you because you are under declaring. And if you're giving as much as 4, that means you are eating into your profit. Because it's supposed to be 3 grams. Now you're giving them 4 grams. You give them 4 1/2 grams. That means you're wasting your profit. You're losing material. Example, if this was a beverage company, it's supposed to be 20 centiliters. But look at how this is running. Sometimes running as 30. The same problem. The same problem you're having because your weight is not consistent and you run a lot of problem. So what do we tend to do? Customers want high quality food product all the time, good service and good store experience. And most of the time, we fail to deliver on those. If you say your product is going to be 20 grams, at any particular time, the customer wants to make 20 grams. If you say it's going to be 35 centiliters, at every particular time, the customer wants to pay for 25 centiliters and get 25 centiliters. So, what is the cost of poor quality? When we put poor quality product out, your cost is increased. Your morale is right because your employees are constantly fighting. Your customers are not happy, and you find so much risk of losing the business. But when you have good quality systems, your process is efficient. Your QA is not stressed because you have less inspection. You have less cost for rework, and you have lesser non-conformances because your system is in top notch. So, good. I like those feedback. Yes. So, what do we do? Food quality is very, very important. There was a survey that was done a few years ago, and 80% of the participants in that survey said they would not mind to pay more if the consistency and the quality of product is good. If you know you are buying top-notch products with no defects, with no variation, you will not mind to pay. So in a study that was done, 80% said they will not mind to pay much more money to get things better. So what are we going to talk about this morning? How can we achieve this? One of the tools that you can use to improve your operation is now this concept of Six Sigma. Why Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a vision and it's a philosophical commitment that at any particular time, when we give product to our customers, we give them the best cost product at the lowest cost. Again, Six Sigma is a metric. It's a yardstick that you can use to gauge and guard yourself to see how well you are doing. Also, Six Sigma is a benchmark. It's a parameter that you can use to assess your best-in-class output. That at any time, you can use it to gauge and measure how well you are doing. And lastly, Six Sigma is also a tool. It's a methodology, it's an approach that can help you to measure what you are doing, analyze your process, improve your process, and control your process. Keep that in mind. We'll talk about that as we continue to go. Don't mind this design. That's my secretary. Some of you that has been in my previous classes, you know my secretary. My secretary put that. So what is Lean Six Sigma? You know, we've talked about Six Sigma. Now let's talk about Lean. What is Lean? Why do you want to run Lean? The Lean concept is a method, a strategic approach of solving and process improvement and strategy that combines two powerful methodologies aimed to reduce waste and variation. Follow me. When I started, I told you that you want to eliminate waste in your production. You don't want to give people, the customer, more than what she wants. So Lean Six Sigma using that concept to eliminate waste in your operation. And the Six Sigma helps you to reduce variation so that at every particular point when you make that bread, it is 350 grams. No matter what happens, it consistently gives you that same. Earlier this week, I was in a flour mill. It's one of the largest flour mills in the world. I was in there this week, and they were making flours into the bags. And I weighed 20 bags. Each one of those 20 were 50 pounds on the money. Not one was overweight, not one was underweight. So what Six Sigma methodology does for you is gives you approach and tactics and methods on how do you work your operation so that you can reduce waste, you can reduce variation. So when you put the lean methodology and the Six Sigma together, that becomes what we now call the lean methodology. And what are you trying to achieve? You are trying to reduce your process cycle time. You are trying to improve your product. You are trying to eliminate defects. This is one of the things that draws quality, because when you make product, we call it non-conformant product. You don't have to put it on queue hold. You don't have to rework, or you have to downgrade, or you have to do all of this. When you fully understand the concept of lean methodology and you use it to the fullest, they help you to eliminate defects in your operation. They help you to manage your inventory levels, when to produce more, when to produce less. I will also talk about later. Then it helps you to maximize or optimize your resources within your organization. It helps you to understand what is important and what is not important. So when you put Six Sigma and lean manufacturing together, like I said, it helps you to focus on waste by reduction of streamlined processes, and it helps you to fix your defect by eliminating variation. So technically, this is what Six Sigma and lean manufacturing is all about. So putting it in perspective, they are all continuous, they are both continuous improvement strategies. Lean manufacturing, Six Sigma, we call them continuous improvement strategies that you can put together so that your food farm, or any other organization, you can maximize quality. You can maximize your cost. You produce at the lowest cost, and you can save time. So, like I said, lean is about waste. Six Sigma is about variation. Let me stress that people are not a waste, but oftentimes talents are wasted because you have people doing activities that are wasteful. Every now and then, when I go out, I ask, why are you doing what you're doing? Is it value added? Is it non-value added? So lean manufacturing, lean operation helps you to identify where does waste happen in your process, and helps you to eliminate that waste progressively. Helps you to be able to identify how do you take it off from your operation. In any organization, we've got 8 different types of waste. And I'm going to talk about that. Typically, actually, we have an acronym for it. We call it the Team Woods. And those are the 8 different kinds of waste you can have. Number 1, transportation. And includes transportation before. How do you move raw materials to your organization? Within your organization, within your company, how do you move product from warehouse to production floor, back to warehouse, to staging area, to QA lab? How do you monitor transportation? Where do you waste time? Where can you cut time? Or where do you need to put in more time? Then we also have inventory. How much of inventory do you have in hand? Are you producing too much or too little? Then motion, excessive motion. People walking about or doing things that are not needed. Then we also have the waiting. You're waiting for raw material, you're waiting for water, you're waiting for power, you're waiting for this, you're waiting for somebody to make decisions. That's another type of waste. Then we have skills. People not knowing their job, people not knowing what they're supposed to do, or people not doing their job correctly, or people doing it the wrong way. You can wait. Skills is also another type of waste we see in operations. Then defect. When you're making product, just like an example, they are underweight or overweight, or they are not meeting QA specs. Now you have to rework, or you have to discard, or you have to downgrade, whatever. Then overproduction, doing work before it is needed, or overprocessing, doing more work than is necessary. So these are the general kinds of waste that we have in operation. So let me sound a caveat that Six Sigma is not just about statistics. No. However, it involved using statistics to fix a problem. Also, Six Sigma is not a quality program. Six Sigma is a continuous improvement program. It is used to enhance your operation and make your operations better. Six Sigma is not used when solution is known. No, it is used when you don't know, when the problem is not obvious, too obvious, but you want to use this methodology to bring out the solution. Then Six Sigma is not only for technical people. No, you don't have to be technically savvy. You don't have to be a guru to use Six Sigma. When you just understand the concept, you can use it continuously. So what is the success for Six Sigma? What do we try to achieve? We try to achieve three things. Number one, reliability, that your process is capable of producing whatever product you make successfully without any hindrances. That your system is reproducibility, that if you move it from one place and you move it to another, that it can produce the same thing. Then repeatability, that today, tomorrow, next year, when we dial in and we focus it and we use the tools, we will get the same thing over and over and over again. So the birth of Six Sigma, like we said, it's about eliminating waste, defects. Six Sigma is about measuring effectiveness. It improves the effectiveness or efficiency by eliminating defects. Then you eliminate delays and waste, improves quality, improves speed. Then, most Six Sigma efforts are incorporating the principles of Lean. Therefore, Six Sigma is often called Lean Six Sigma when you put them together. So what are the values in lean manufacturing? Number one, it makes your job easier. When you've dialed in, you've settled it, it makes your job easier. You reduce frustrations and you work smarter, not harder. Then it gives you a better value for your product because it makes your process more efficient, more effective, and improves your quality. Then you work faster. You're not wasting time to fulfill customer orders. Then you save money because you are running at a cheaper cost. And you can sell better and sell more. So why is Six Sigma the topic? Why Six Sigma? Why is the word six? Because it has been determined statistically that with six Sigma. And how did we get to Six Sigma? Let me use this one. I can come back. Yes, with Six Sigma, it means that you're measuring to 3 standard deviations on both sides. When we look at this chart, we can see 3 standard deviations to the left, 3 standard deviations to the right. So let's now come back here. 3 standard deviations to each side, combine them makes Six Sigma, means 6 standard deviation, which means you can detect defects in your operation to the least possible note. Quality is about understanding what is good and understanding what could be bad. So with 6 standard deviations, statistically, you'll be able to detect your Mr. Wale, can you please send out the passcode? I'm having people text me wanting the passcode for the Zoom. Can you please send it out? People texting me wanting to know the passcode for the Zoom. Can you please send it out to them? Thank you. So 6 standard deviations help you to understand to the smallest parts where problems or defects might happen in your operation. So the concept of Six Sigma started around 1986, and it was started in Motorola. The popular Motorola company started with a guy named Bill Smith. He had the first team of professionals who started this concept, and they devised the green belt and the black belt at that time to describe this concept. And in 2001, Motorola saved 16 billion using the concept of Six Sigma in the operation. I heard of a story from Toyota. I taught Toyota manufacturing plant about 5, 6, 7 years ago. It is the manufacturing plant where Toyota assembles the Toyota Avalon, and they assembled the Toyota Avensis at that location. They told me that to change over from one car to the other usually takes them 7 days. But when they put in the concept of Six Sigma, they could do the changeover in 8 hours. And what is the beauty in that? The beauty in that is that you can look at this concept of Six Sigma, you understand it, look at it within the framework of continuous improvement and understand what can we do better? What can we do differently to achieve better results? So, Sigma, which is the statistical connotation for standard deviation, is what we use here because it helps us to understand to the smallest level the defect per million opportunities. These 3.4 on each side, when you put it together, that means you can identify defects in a product up to 99.99966 defect free, which means at almost all the time, you can be assured that to the smallest opportunity, your product is going to be defect free. And when you look at it, that 3 sigma before, 3 sigma after, six standard deviations help you to fit your product to meet customer specification at each particular time. So again, recapping lean manufacturing. Your organization is in business to make money, period. Except you're an NGO or you are not for profit. If you are making food, you are in there to make money. So what lean does for you is that it helps you look at areas in your operation where you can run better, faster, and cheaper. It helps you to focus again. Remember the 2 keywords, reduce waste, eliminate variation, so that you can be more profitable. Then also, it helps you to focus on the customer all the time. When you focus on the customer, the guys buying your product, when you focus on them, you're eliminating the defect, you are reducing time, and you are saving money. That is how you can stay in business. So Six Sigma is about the quality of the business, not the business of quality. Your quality assurance, quality control, whatever, that's the business of quality. But the Six Sigma is about the quality of your business. It's about how well do you deliver your product to your customer. So as we move on, one of the benefits of running your business is that Lean Sigma helps you to understand the concept of what we call value. When we say value, what do we mean by value? In your organizations, there are what we call the NVAs and the VAs, the non-value added and the value added. There are a bunch of things you do that you have no business doing because it does not do, and it has no impact on your organization. These activities do not add any value to your process or product. So these are the kind of waste that Lean Six Sigma helps you to understand and avoid. And unfortunately, most of the time, these non-value added activity are the ones that are very capital intensive, and they are the one that takes a lot of your money and your time. So when you look at operation in the lens of Six Sigma, understanding what value is, it tells you where you spend time of resources that has no bottom line to the customer or the product, and you need to eliminate. Then we have what we call the value-added activities. These are the things where you need to spend money or time or your resources because they have direct link to your bottom line. They have direct relationship to how profitable your business is. So value-added activities as what we need to improve. So viewing your operation in the lens of Six Sigma helps you understand what is value-added, what is not value-added. It now empowers you to enable the value-added activity so that is what you bring to your forefront, because that is what delivers the money to your organization. Statistics or study has told us that, unfortunately, most of the time, 80 to 85% of the things you do in your facility are unfortunately non-value added. They are the things you don't need to. But when you look at your operation within this lens, it helps you to understand. So lean helps you to understand, where do we put more effort? Where do we put more resources at? Where do we need to eliminate waste or variation? And how do you do this? We do this by the belt approach. There are several layers, and you see people talk about it in different ways. But typically, we have 4 different kinds of belts. We have the master black belt, we have the black belt, we have the green belt, and the yellow belt. So typically, those are the 4 belt approaches that we have in Lean Six Sigma. Oh, sorry, 5, and the blue, or what we call the white belt one. And I'm going to explain them in a minute. The yellow belt is typically a day or 2-day training where you are just introduced to the concept, where you can just look at an operation and you can identify what is wrong or what could go wrong. A yellow belter will participate in a project, and this is just a one-time in training. However, the green belt is what we call a higher level one. With a green belt, you can start and manage a project. You work with the supervision of a black belt, and you go through a training class. A black belter is someone who now has the advanced Lean Six Sigma expertise. A black belt can coach, can mentor, can teach, and can lead or chair project teams. Then we have what we call the master black belt that works with leaders to identify gaps and select projects. He can coach, teach, mentor, lead projects. The one we're talking about right now is now the green belt. When you work with the green belt, you're typically what I call a change agent. And what that means is that you are a group, you are a person within a group that champions continuous improvement projects. You need to learn the continuous improvement tools, understand the Lean and the Six Sigma methodology into details, and you work as part of a team in an organization to work on continuous improvement projects. For Green Belt, the certification typically includes training class, hands-on class, between 40 to 160 hours of coursework. You have to complete one project to get the certification. So what does it mean? To get the Green Belt certification, you have to look into your facility. Then you look at a problem. Then you solve that problem using Green Belt tools. Then with Green Belt, you are able to now go back and mentor other Green Belts, mentor other white belts, or mentor other yellow belts. Then when you learn it, there is a requirement that you continuously work on projects so that you can keep your tools memory refreshed. Then you have to be able to use basic statistics to justify your understanding of Lean principles and concepts. So how does this Lean manufacturing concept work? It works with what we call this demake process. The whole Six Sigma works under this concept of demake. You hear that over and over. And what is demake? It simply stands for the acronym define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. That's definitely the demake process. And let's take it one at a time. The define. What is the define about? The define objective is you understanding what is wrong in my organization. Where am I losing money? Where am I wasting time? Where do I have the most variation? Where am I having the most defect? Where am I having the most waste? You have to define. That famous scientist, Einstein, said, if I have 60 minutes to solve a problem, I will use 50 minutes to define it, then the other 10 to solve it. So the define step is where you conceptualize that problem, understand what is going on. That is what you do with define. Then your measure is where you now collect data. You use a lot of activities, bring them together to measure and understand. Establish what we call a baseline, that this thing that is wrong, how is it wrong? Now, going back to our initial example, my weight is all over. So what is the average? Okay, I'm supposed to be 3 grams. I've been running 2.25, 2.5, 3.25, 4. Get a baseline. Do some analysis on what days am I having this? Is it on Mondays, on Tuesdays, or Wednesdays? That's what you do with measurement. You are trying to put numbers towards that problem. Then you now analyze it. You use statistical method to get a hold of what is wrong and how it is wrong. You evaluate the variables and the outputs so that you can fix that problem. Then lastly, you now improve. You now begin to offer solutions. Okay, maybe the reason we are overfilling my 20 centimeter bottle is that the machine is not right. I need to calibrate the machine. Do I need to perform a PM? Or maybe the operator is having some errors. Or maybe the process is not that. It is in the improvement stage. That is where you put in a solution to the problem that is at hand. Then you now control. In control, what you are doing is that you are mistake-proofing it so that that problem does not come again, so that you have control over it, so that it doesn't repeat itself. So that if you go home as a quality assurance manager, you can be rest assured that even I'm not at work, I know that every particular bottle is going to be 25 cl. I'm sure that when they measure it, I'm not going to be overweight or underweight. So in Six Sigma, we have a lot of tools we use. They include the analysis of variance, brainstorming sessions. We use correlation and regression statistical methods, graphs and charts, hypothesis testing. If it is not this, then it is that. You do process capability studies. We can use flow diagrams, box plot charts, cause and effect diagram. Then we have what we call the design experiment, where you actually carry out real-time experiment to understand what's going on. Use histogram charts, Pareto charts, process control plans, and quality function deployment. These are tools that we use, scatter diagram, response surface methods, that when we get into the Greenbelt statistic class itself, we'll teach you each one of these ones, how to use it, when to use it, and what do we expect from them. As we begin to round up, this is just an introductory class, but what are 5 reasons why you need a Six Sigma certification on your CV? There are 5 reasons why you should have a green belt at the minimum. Number 1, it helps you to make value in your organization because you help your business to stay out of trouble because you can fix problems. So you reduce risk for the organization you work. Then you increase your value in every industry because your products are consistent, your product is good, and your company continues to stay in business. Then it gives a hands-on experience because you can look into a project and boom, boom, boom. You can use any of those tools we talked about, perform all those tools, solve a problem, and you're good. Then it makes you competitive because that's more money in your bank because the company knows how good you are and they will pay for you. Then if career progression is your aim, having a green belt certification is what can help you get closer to what you need. So for the organization, why do they need to invest in Six Sigma? A recent study told us that 89% of employers still say actually want belters, meaning a black belt, a green belt, over MBAs. Because MBAs are typically sitting down in their office and racking numbers. But with Six Sigma, you get to be hands-on, your boots on the ground, you get dirty, you get into the facility and get to do work. So companies are increasingly making it mandatory to hire green belts, black belters for continuous improvement. Employers are seeing that there's actually more reward for them. They're making more sales because you're having less keyword, less downgrade, less destroy. You're making what we call first pass prime. Your product are first pass all the time. So you're saving money. Then it helps the career because companies are seeing that they have empowering their people with skill sets that they can use to solve problems, analyze problems, and continuously improve their operation. So, just to recap and see what we are, and you can unmute yourself and talk to me. Lean is about what? About what?
A war on waste.
Thank you. Lean is B, is a war on waste. You want to eliminate waste in your operation. Lean methodology is a war on waste. Then Six Sigma is
a war on variation.
Thank you, is a war on variation. You don't want variation in your operation. Rather, just like the gentleman earlier said, what you want is consistency. That at every particular time you are producing the same product, the same way, the same time, the same volume, same quantity. So Six Sigma, Lean is about waste, Sigma is about variation. So we talk about 3 metrics for success. What are the 3 metrics for success?
Reliability, reproducibility, and
repeatability.
I didn't hear you. Please speak a little louder.
Reliability.
Yes, it's A. Reliability, that your system is capable of producing what it's supposed to be. Reproducibility, that irrespective of the product, irrespective of the production line, as long as you use that thing, you will get good result. Then repeatability, that every day, every night, every shift, all the time, your system can produce good products. It's about reliability, reproducibility, and repeatability. So I begin to wind it down. Quality, the good quality is cheap. It is poor quality that is expensive. When you have good quality, it's cheap because your business stays relevant. Your business stays profitable. Your business stays open. However, poor quality is expensive because you get to lose your business. You can get to lose customers. If your quality continues to diminish, your customers are going to go to your competitors. If your customer comments begin to get more, you begin to lose customers. So it's very important to invest in Six Sigma methodology, Lean and Six Sigma methodology, so that you can have good quality. Again, thank you very much for listening to me this evening. I will welcome your questions now. Questions?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Yes, go ahead. Hello, I can hear you.
I want to ask, is there any way we can get a video copy of a video? Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, I'm listening. It's faint, but I'm listening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, fine
Hello.
evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead. Ask your question.
Please, I want to ask two specific questions. Number one,
Yes.
is it possible for us to get a video copy of the
Yes.
lecture, and also a registration of how we can move from one stage in Six Sigma from one stage to the next stage, so we
Okay.
can follow up.
Good question. Yes. So, if you contact Mr. Wale, he can help you to get a copy of this class. Then you ask for the stages of the belt. The stages of the belt typically works, we will work in this order. That our approach is that very soon we will offer the 1-day yellow belt class. When you go through the yellow belt class and you're certified yellow belt, you can do the green belt. Then you get green belt certified. Then after green belt certified, you move to the belt. And if you are a strong person like me and you daring all consequences and you want to learn more, you can also get to the master black belt level. So these are the sequence that is generally advisable.
Okay, how are we going to get the link? Because I'm very much interested in.
When you talk to the organizers, they will tell you the date. We've got dates for these classes, and you can get to participate in these classes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Good evening, Mr. Dr. Dugbemi.
Fine evening.
How are you doing? Thanks for the lecture.
Sir.
I'm Dabo.
Okay.
I want to ask for a continual improvement specialist.
Yes.
Which one is advisable? The Lean or the Six Sigma or both? Which one will you advise?
It's actually taught as a combo. So most of the time when you see these classes, they teach us at Lean Six Sigma.
Okay.
So when we teach you the yellow belt, and the certificate will say yellow belt in Lean Six Sigma. It has to be taught both together.
Okay.
It's not one or the other. They teach you together. So that's why we say Lean Six Sigma presentation class. So you get your yellow belt in Lean Six Sigma. You get your green Lean Six Sigma, master black belt, and so. You cannot learn one without the other.
All right. That's beautiful. So what, for one that is having interest in the classes or in getting the bread, what's the course, or where are we going to? Is there a website? Where do we have to go to know the date, the time, and the course of?
Okay, Mr. Wale, that is the organizer, he's got the details. He's going to send it out when the classes are going to, but I know a yellow belt class will be coming on very soon. And I think the green belt is going to be later. The yellow belt is typically going to be a day class. Okay. It's going to be a day class, but the green belt is going to be a 6-day class. You got a 3-day class, then you go do your project, then you come back for another 3-day class to round it up.
Okay, all right. In Lagos, right?
It's going to be in Lagos, yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Wonderful.
Hello, Dr. Dugbemi.
Yes.
My name is Ololade. Thank you for the presentation. I want us to look at what you just taught us and then take like an example. Let's say, for instance, I'm making chin-chin.
Yes.
And I discover that I'm not consistent. Maybe the cutting, let's assume I'm cutting it like sticks, like fingers, and some will get to be longer than others. So maybe that's what is, I just look for a quick example that I can use. Maybe that's what is responsible for me not producing the same weight all the time. So if I now want to use what you said we'll use, that gym make, let's say I want to identify, I've identified that they are longer, maybe because I'm using knife or something to cut. So is it part of the identification to also say that, or okay, let me say, what is the measure now? If I have identified that they are longer, okay, I want to make equal sizes. Does that mean I have to look at like getting an equipment, maybe a cutter that will be cutting the same size? Then what will now be analyzed?
Good question. Good question. And you know what? What you just said right now is the beauty of Lean Six Sigma. Now, your problem is on Six Sigma. Why? Remember we said Six Sigma is a war on variation. The problem you're having is that you're having problem of variation. How? Because some chin-chins are longer, some chin-chins are smaller, some are shorter, some are fatter. So you have a problem of variation. What now happens, the beauty of Six Sigma for you is that we will now teach you the tools that you can use to first understand, why do I have this problem? Normally, you will run to go buy another knife, thinking your knife is the problem. But trust me, I have done this several times. Your knife may not be your problem.
Okay.
So when you look at it with the lens, which is where we will teach you, using at it with the lens of Six Sigma, how to clearly understand what is the problem. When you now understand that the problem may not be the knife, problem may actually not be the person cutting it. The problem may be the way you need the dough, that the dough is not consistent, so that when you cut it, automatically some becomes smaller, some becomes longer. That is how we teach your eyes to see where the problem is. That is when you can now fix it.
Okay. So the teaching is not even here yet.
No, this is just an introductory class.
Oh.
So like I told you, when you look at what I said to you, we've got a lot of tools. We got a lot of tools that we use. And we will now teach you how to use the correct one. Like if you look at here, I said we've got this, these are the tools. We'll now begin to look at which one can we take. If I'm going to give just out of the box, I will use a design of experiment for this explanation of your problem you just talked about. We can use a design of experiment too to troubleshoot and fix this thing.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
It's very interesting, and it's very deep. With what I'm seeing now, it's very deep.
Yeah.
You can see ANOVA, correlation and regression. It's deep.
Yeah. These are tools, so that when you come into class, I always recommend that you come with a computer. We'll give you the applications you use and you get hands-on. I mean, if you've ever been to any of my classes, you know that we get dirty and we get to work.
Okay, like if you want to teach us this, what we are seeing on the screen now, how long does it take? Is it the one that takes 6 days?
Like I said, in a yellow belt class, based on the course curriculum, it's going to be a day class. But for a green belt,
we don't teach this. We don't learn this.
We probably won't get into this detail. We'll just talk about the concept, the methodology, and the approaches in a yellow belt. Then we'll work in an in-class assignment together. But when you get deep into the green belt, the green belt classes, you take about 6 to 7 day class. You do it 3 days, then like this will give you a lot of these tools. We explain all of them into details. We now tell you to go back to do a project. So like this scenario you just gave to me, we'll tell you to go put in a project. Then I'll have, when I have students, we have one-on-one sessions with you to guide you through how to do the project. When you have questions, call. Then you do your project, you submit, then you come back another 3 days. So a green belt is going to be about 6 to 7 days.
Now I understand. Thank you so much.
No problem. Keep the questions coming. I'm liking it.
Okay, please. I want to ask a question and also
he's breaking up.
Suggestion, because most of us that very much interested in attending the first question training was and subsequent one. Will we have to meet face to face, or it will be in an online platform?
Good question. The first class, the yellow belt 8-hour class, it's going to be in person. But for the green belt, the first 3 days is got to be in class because a lot of these things is going to be hands-on. So then in between, there's going to be Zoom classes like these where we do refreshers, we teach some other concept. Then the last 3 days is going to be, because a lot of these things are technical in nature somewhat. So they might be things that we have to show you, how to run the applications on a computer and things like that. So most likely it's going to be all of in person. Someone asked a question here and I really like it. He said, this presentation is informative. Please, can you tell how Lean Six Sigma be applied to a service? Yes. So if you work in a fast food restaurant and you got 5 employees serving and your line is always long and your employee and your customers are always like, oh, I don't want to go there because it takes me 30 minutes. Lean Six Sigma helps you to now devise, how can I process my 5 employees so that when customer comes, I reduce my cycle time. That I work in a fast food place. Customers are always complaining that the line is long. That's a perfect example of another project. How can you look at it, understand where do we have that bottleneck? Where are we wasting the most time? And we can begin to use any of these these tools we're talking about, and you can turn it around. So instead of customers waiting 20 minutes to get their food, they can be out in 5 minutes. Actually, when I was doing my master black belt project, one of my projects was a cycle time where I turned a 45-minute wait into a 15-minute wait. So yes, you can also use it in service industries.
Thank you, Dr. Odubemi. May I ask, this certification of all those belts, is it done locally or you just train for one to attend the exam?
No, it has to be done locally. You have to come to class. So we do the class in Lagos. We're planning to have the class in Lagos. Then you have to come to class.
So you give the certification?
Eh?
Are you the one that will give the certification?
Myself and a couple of my, I'll be bringing a couple of my colleagues to Nigeria. We'll do it together.
Okay.
I'll be bringing a couple of my colleagues back home. We'll do it together.
So you just concentrate on the training for each of the belts, then one will now sit for the exam for certification.
Yes, you have to sit at the end of it. Right. You have to sit for the exam, for the certification.
But how will one know the days of your training now? You have a calendar?
The organizers will tell you. They have it. They will tell you.
All right, great. Thank you.
Please, Dr. Odubemi, I want you to clarify something.
Yes.
Following on the question that the man just asked, I think I want to try to understand very well. When you finish training,
yes,
is it like something like ICANN that you registered separately for the certification? Are we going to pay again for the certification?
No. We are accredited to take the class. So we will be the one that you take the exam with us. So for the yellow belt is 1 day, 8 hours, you take class, the last hour you take the exam. That is it for the yellow belt. For the green belt, the first 3 days you come to class, no exam. Then you go do your project. Then you come back for another last 3 days. Then at the end of the third day, that's when you take the exam.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yep. Yeah, I like it. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Good. Can I speak on?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I'm excited at the class tonight. This is fantastic. And I just attest to the fact that I've been on that training for the HSC and it was fantastic. And I'm not disappointed from this training. I'm sure that the next time we'll have in Nigeria is going to be great. You're doing a good job. Appreciate what you're doing. And thank you for the concept for what you're doing. We appreciate that NIMS is very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, I did not hear. Can somebody please help me rephrase what she said? Unfortunately, I didn't hear her. She was breaking up real bad. Whew.
I guess it's the network. I wasn't
Yes,
hearing
what
her.
did she say?
I didn't hear her clearly at all.
I didn't hear as well. I did not hear.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess it's much of appreciation, but it's breaking really. I don't know. I guess it's much of appreciation of what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? In the absence of any other question, I really want to thank you for coming today. It's been a pleasure to anchor this class the last few minutes.